Everyone, Tokyo Joe here, coming at you live from Tokyo Midtown, Tokyo, Japan. Here in Tokyo Town, friends. Well, this is the most important podcast you'll ever hear. Because this friends, this could change the world. I think, personally, it'll change the world for the better. Because I think, despite what I'm about to tell you, the world will become one, and there will be peace, and people will be finding brotherhood like they never found before. But let's get on with it. Scientists met on Wednesday. This is news coming out of Tokyo, Japan. Scientists here met, I believe including government scientists, met on Wednesday this week. So late May 2012 AD, and they observed that the Boso Peninsula, which is a large hanging piece of Japan above Tokyo Harbor, where Chiba is, that big peninsula there sticking to the east of Tokyo Bay, where Chiba is. If you ever flown to Tokyo through Narita Airport, that's the one. Boso Peninsula has been moving at 3 centimeters a day for many years now. And it's been 400 years since the last big earthquake in that area. Now, there are different fault lines everywhere, but this is a particular fault line where there's a big Pacific plate, and there's Japanese, Asian plate, and many other plates kind of form a big volcanic fault, right? Like so, Fugaku, Mount Fuji, Fuji-sama, or as I call it, Fugaku, which is the ancient Japanese way of saying Mount Fuji. And by the way, if you want to learn the Japanese, I've got a new thing coming up called Learning the Japanese. Stay tuned for that. You'll see me broadcast about that. It's a new channel. You can learn Japanese and come live in Tokyo and have the dream life you always wanted. Right? But let's get on with the story here first. Fugaku is, people are afraid it's going to blow. Right? Like you've seen the film 2012 where that big mountain in Yosemite blows up. Like that. Kind of like that, but a lot bigger, I think. Could be a big earthquake and big problems. I don't think the earth will collapse like in the movie, but there'll be a big earthquake, and we're worried about this in Tokyo. Scientists came out on Wednesday and said it could be an 8.0 on the Richter scale, which is a big-ass motherfucking earthquake. You don't want this happening when you're in town. Let me tell you, friends. Here's the thing, if it happens, people are worried about what's going to happen up there in, Fukushima, because people are afraid of the radioactivity and stuff, because, there's a lot of fuel and uranium and all that stuff in there in the reactors, and they're trying to cool it down and all that. And I hear that the radiation ionized radiation is very dangerous for you. It can kill you. It can hurt you real bad. It might take you 20, 30 years to do it, but it can do it. So I hear real horror stories about that. But if there is an 8.0 somewhere near Boso Peninsula, and by the way, there are 3 peninsulas here near Tokyo. Boso is the big one to the east of Tokyo Bay. Miura is the one underneath. If you ever been to Kamakura or Enoshima, and you keep following that all the way east, that's the Miura Peninsula. That's underneath Tokyo Bay, underneath Yokohama. And the other one to the south, the big one, is called the Izu Peninsula, and that's where the islands come off from, the Izu Island chain, which is also part of Tokyo Town. Izu is a lot bigger. Miura is kind of small, and Boso is real big. If this does happen in an 8.0 in the Boso Peninsula, friends, well, let me say that I'm no expert, but I think here in Tokyo we'll get a pretty good shake. Now, here's the interesting thing about Tokyo. They've been building earthquake-proofed buildings now for many decades, right? fact, just a few years ago, Tokyo Midtown itself was built, and the Mode Gakuen Tower is built. Lots of construction projects being built right now all around Tokyo Town, everywhere. Shinjuku, Toshima, Bunkyo, you name it, right? Tokyo Skytree just opened, right? Sumida, you name it, right? Chuo, Minato, everywhere there's lots of buildings going up, Shibuya, and lots of other places. Now, Tokyo-proof building means this, from what I understand. An earthquake-proof building means this. I'm sorry. If there is an earthquake, it can resist the waves and sway around with the earthquake, and people inside won't end up underneath concrete necessarily. The building moves, and they're kind of safer than if the building was just a normal building. Right? You with me? Right. But what happens if there's an earthquake like there was, and they're not totally safe, but they're proofed, so there's a better chance of people surviving, both on the street, underneath the building, won't fall over, and the people inside the building. By the way, do not take this as kind of advice. If there is an earthquake, I have no idea whether or not you're safer inside or out. I guess you take your chances. Personally, I like to bolt down the fire escape as fast as possible. I ain't going to use the lift because they're not working right. I'll bolt down the fire escape and I will get away from a tall building as fast as I can. I don't want to be inside one of these buildings in case it comes down, right? And you can understand, a lot of concrete inside and weighs hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tons. You can't stop that. You're not strong enough. You're just going to have to get the hell out. That said, you may well survive by staying put. People say you should get under the chair and desk and all that stuff. So, you know, consult your professional earthquake professionals to get an idea of what to do, right? Now, earthquake proof means the building is proofed. What happens if there is an earthquake on an earthquake proof building? Well, the building, for the most part, may have survived the earthquake, swayed around. We had an earthquake here last year, right? 3/11, 2011. Now, that's March 11. Now, what happens? Well, the experts say that you got to rebuild that building because it's had one big shake, and it's not going to be nearly as earthquake proof as it was before. So, in other words, there is a big risk, friends, that these so-called earthquake proof buildings have lost that earthquake-proofed quality after the big shake. In other words, they need to be rejigged and re-stressed and all that stuff, and that can take many months and years and money and time to do it. So that's a problem. I want to make sure that this thing doesn't happen before these buildings are again made earthquake resistant or proofed. Right? Because if it does happen, there is a chance that the quality of the earthquake proofing may well have no effect because of the shake we had last year and the fact that they haven't rejigged the building. That's a concern. The other thing I want to talk about with you is what to do. You got to have an escape plan. You think there'll be thousands of people lined up to Narita? There won't be. There'll be billions, right? Potentially. And Haneda and the other airports around Tokyo. What you got to do is think about, what about a boat? Well, boats ain't going to help you if there's a big tsunami, because your boat's going to be somewhere sitting atop a building somewhere near Shibuya, right? You got to be careful of that too. So what do you do? I mean, there's lots of different things. I'll talk about that in another podcast when I think about it. I have a friend with a boat, and I might do that, but ain't going to be much good if these boats being beached like they were up there in Tohoku, right? And the other thing you got to worry about is what's going to happen with the food situation. And I tell you right now, you should just do it today. Go to your supermarket, buy a month's worth of water right now, stick it in your apartment, have some ready to if you got to take it down the stairs with you, make sure you got some, at least a day's supply, maybe 2 or 3 you can carry with you, right? You want at least 3 or 4 liters of water, clean water, right? You want toilet paper. You want to have little pieces of silver or gold, bribe your way out of the place. Cigarettes to bribe your way out of the place, right? You want to have little bottles of beer or whiskey. You can bribe your way out of the place if you have to. You want to have rice. You want to have dried seaweed. You want to have miso pastes, and you want to have ramen and soba noodles. You want to have disinfectant for your hands. You want to have vodka as a disinfectant, as a shaving aftershave, as a medical kind of alcohol. Don't use it like that, just an emergency only, alright? And think about all the things you need, because they will become real important if this thing happens. Now, I don't know what chance there is, but they've been talking about it this week. Google it. It's out there in the Google. You know how to use the Google? It's www.google.com. You type in whatever you want to search for. 8.0 Tokyo earthquake, meeting Wednesday, Boso Peninsula moving 3 centimeters a day or whatever it was, and then press enter, and then it'll come up with the results, and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Okay, friends, well, please rate, subscribe, tell your parents, tell your cousins, tell your aunts and uncles, tell your children, make a comment, because I live for your comments, friends. Your comments keep me alive, and I will respond to every single one of them. I promise you that. Please rate, subscribe, visit the forum, www.tokyoforum.tk. Please follow us on the Twitters. You know Twitter? It's at the Tokyo Forum, and my personal account at TokyoJoeTK, all one word. Okay, friends, I'll be on the YouTube again with another Tokyo Forum podcast. Have a great Saturday. Bye for now, friends.